Hello there and welcome friends. This video is going to be all about boots and the best boots you can find in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Now I would personally say the boot slot is somewhat underwhelming, just like the goggle slots. There aren't that many great boots, but we can make do with the ones we have available. At the very least, the most powerful of them all will certainly leave you amazed. So let's get started. As usual, this guide will be in order of availability, so based on how early you can get each of these boots. The first one is the Free Dancer's boots. They give you a +2 competence bonus to saving throws against movement impairing conditions, like let's say slow and web. Honestly, they are only here so far as they are the first special boots that you get, because frankly the effect is nothing special. You can find the Free Dancer's boot relatively early in the Great Garrison area, so towards the end of chapter 1. Now the second great boots at the very least is decent. The boots of Free Reign, that grant you a permanent freedom of movement effect. Of course you can just cast a spell on yourself for the same effect, and freedom of movement is a long-lasting spell, but at the very least you can get it permanently by having one of these boots. You can first find the boots of Free Reign in the Green Gates area during chapter 3, inside the Bell Tower. Now it's important to note that freedom of movement is a very powerful effect. It does after all make you immune to both trip and also paralyze. And it also has great synergy with the Powerless Prophecy Oracle Curse, as it will make you immune to the Staggered effect as well. Another great pair of boots is the Expedition boots. They give you a +10 competence bonus to athletics and also +5 to mobility. Both of these skills are very useful. There's quite a lot of checks in the game for both of them, so be sure to give them to your characters like Wendwag, Lan or Aru even, who have high ranks in these skills. To find the Expedition boots, all you have to do is head to the laboratory area in chapter 3, and since you have to go there anyways, because that is where you get your Mythic rank 4, chances are you will end up with this powerful pair of boots. Another interesting pair of boots is the Perfected Maneuver, that you can find starting from chapter 3 in Wintersun. They give a +3 competence bonus to CMD and also to CMB, so perfect for characters that like using trip for example, as to increase its difficulty class because of the CMB bonus. To find these boots you actually have to free Wintersun from Jerrybat's influence. After that, the NPC Gersmeha will become Wintersun's leader and also a shopkeeper, so you can simply talk to her and buy some special items. As far as chapter 4 boots, one of the best ones is the boots of Stampede, and you can find them as soon as chapter 4 starts. They let you add the wearer's rank in athletics skill as bonus to the damage roll on a successful charge attack. Now by the time you get these boots, you will have something around 13 to 14 ranks in athletics, going up to 20 at the end game, so if you like using charge, it can be a decent pair of boots. To find them, simply enter the Nexus cave, then head down below. After that, just loot the skeleton over here, and you'll get your boots. For another great pair of chapter 4 boots, you also have Spirit Trackers. Although just like with Perfected Maneuver, they are situational. After all, they only work if you are a Spirit Hunter, meaning they are perfect for Camellia, giving her an additional 4 uses of her Spirit Weapon ability. And Spirit Weapon is absolutely amazing when it comes to proccing, let's say, Elemental Barrage for massive amounts of damage per round. So the more uses we have, the better, as it only lasts a single minute per use. To find the Spirit Trackers, simply complete one of the rotating puzzles inside the Storyteller Tower during chapter 4, and you do have to go there anyways for the main quest. Now the boots of Free Reign actually have a big brother version, the boots of Freest Reign, that give the same freedom of movement effect, but also a +10 bonus to base speed. You can only get this pair of boots later on during chapter 5, basically from the basement of Camellia's house when doing her personal quest at chapter 5. Now let's talk about what you're all really here for. The best boots in Wrath of the Righteous, the Ronax Sacrifice boots. These boots are crazy powerful really. First, they give your character a +8 enhancement bonus to dexterity, and this is actually massive. Remember that by default the maximum enhancement you can get is around 6 with some bells, or +8 by having a brown fur transmuter character. With these boots however, we can just get +8 right out of the bat. They also give you a very big +10 bonus to mobility and athletics, two very important skills. And it doesn't end there, as they also have another very unique and very powerful effect. These boots will double your bonuses to armor class, attack rolls, and reflex saving throws from the haste spell. Lastly, whenever an enemy confirms a critical hit against you, they will become stunned for 1d4 rounds, although this one is somewhat situational. The plus 8 to dexterity and the haste boosts are what makes these boots so powerful. Now, finding these boots isn't exactly hard, but it can be tricky because it involves a multi-step process and they are missable. So let's get started on how to find the Ronak sacrifice boots. So the boots actually come from a restored relic, and just like all Storyteller's relics, you first have to find an item for him to restore. In the case of the boots, you get it in the Wintersun area by interacting with a lot of these standing stones. The first one is right here, very close to the entrance of the area. Now be advised that all of these standing stones actually have a knowledge check that you need to pass in order to get the item at the end of it all. And as far as I know, you cannot fail the check, otherwise you won't be able to get the boots. Even after leveling up, you won't be able to retry the checks, so you have to make them count. So you have to pass them on the first time you interact with each of the stones. The checks aren't really that high, something around 20 to 24 and 25 knowledge and lore. In my case, I'm using my Skald mercenary. Skulls and bards are great for knowledge checks, as they not only gain a boost to the knowledge and lore skills from bardic knowledge, they also have the lore master class ability that lets them take 10 on any knowledge skill check, which is enough to get these checks with 100% chance. If you don't have a Skald or a bard, then you can use someone like Nanyo, who also has very high ranks in knowledge. After all, she is an intelligence-based character. So let's interact with the stone here.
Ha! A trivial task.
And now let's head to the other standing stones. First, the ones that are outside the Wintersun village, so in the wilderness area surrounding it. Another one of the standing stones is right here, pretty close to the village of Wintersun itself, so let's click it.
A trivial task.
Yet another standing stone, also very close to the village. To the right side of the map, we also have another standing stone here. To the left side of the map, close to one of the area exits. This one is in the same spot where you'll have to face the Sarkorian outcast enemies. Another standing stone right here, on the same place where you have to fight the ancient blighted Trent, and also some Babaus. The Trent can be rather tough, make sure you are prepared. And remember, the Trent can also only be fully killed with fire. We have another standing stone here, basically close to the area where you fight all of the ferocious animals.
Are absolute.
Now the last of the standing stones outside the village of Wintersun is actually hidden away inside the cave here, the same cave that you have to go to help Morvag defeat his demon.
We should move.
Another standing stone here, right inside the village, and yet another stone inside the village, this one close to this little cabbage patch here. Now you might have noticed there are also some rune stones inside the village of Wintersun. These are for another quest. What you need to do to get the boots is to interact with the standing stones, not rune stones. Alright, so after you've interacted with all of the standing stones and successfully made the checks, you will be able to find the Heart of Stone right here. And here we are, the rune-covered ancient leather scrap. This is the item that we have to show the storyteller in order for him to give us our long-awaited boots. However, even though you can actually give the ancient scrap of leather to the storyteller during chapter 3, you will only be able to fully restore these boots at chapter 4, 5 or 6. That's because they actually require 2 hides of magical creatures, and the earliest you can find magical creature hides is at chapter 4. Also be warned that because a lot of items in the late game require hides of magical creatures, you might not end up with enough for all of them, such as for example the Shy Lily helmet, your Mythic cloak, and lastly, the Ronak sacrifice boots. I would personally go for the Shy Lily helmet and also our powerful boots, mostly because depending on your Mythic path, the cloak you get isn't really powerful and in some cases quite useless, such as for example for the Trickster and AZATA Mythic paths. The LICH one, however, is extremely powerful, so I would certainly make that one. Alright, so this was it, friends. You are certain to make your dexterity-based characters way more powerful just by having these boots, so I hope you enjoy them. Remember that you can now become a member of my channel, and depending on the tier you choose, you'll even be able to request personal videos about topics of all sorts in role-playing games and cRPGs, and even play a direct hand in what new RPGs I'm going to play. Thank you for watching and see you next time, friends!